On our wedding anniversary, my CEO husband Marcus invited me to watch the ocean with him, but a hurricane hit. I waited for over 2 hours in the torrential rain and strong winds, but he never showed up. Finally, I received a text message saying he was on an urgent business trip and couldn't make it. The very next second, Chloe, the intern he mentored, posted a social media video. My usually pampered husband was barefoot, helping fishermen transport seafood. The caption read, "My CEO husband loves to work." I smiled, liked the post, and commented, "Hardworking and resilient, a true role model for us all." The company group chat exploded, everyone guessing if I would finally lose it. Marcus called, his voice tight with suppressed anger. "Grace, what was the meaning of that comment? Were you intentionally trying to humiliate Chloe?" "It was a hurricane. What's wrong with me helping her family move some fish? A pampered lady like you wouldn't understand the struggles of ordinary people. Delete the comment now. I'll take you to see the ocean in a few days." I felt a wave of nausea and replied to his comment, "Let the tainted filth accompany me to see the ocean? No thanks." Yes, Marcus was tainted, and I wanted nothing more to do with him. Grace, are you crazy? I've been explaining this for so long, can't you just stop making a scene? There's nothing more to say. Let's get a divorce. I closed my eyes and said calmly, "Why are you getting so jealous again? I told you, we're just colleagues. It was a hurricane, I couldn't just leave a young girl to work in the rain. When can't we see the ocean? What if she caught a cold from the rain?" He seemed to have forgotten that I had also braved the weather for our date by the ocean. At that moment, I was stranded on an isolated spot due to the hurricane. Cold rain, driven by the hurricane, relentlessly lashed my face. I cut him off angrily. "I'm still stranded on oceanfront, the water is already above my ankles." Hearing I was in danger, Marcus's voice turned anxious. "Wait there, I'm coming to get you right away." Marcus arrived in 20 minutes, despite the drive usually taking over half an hour. He got out of the car, looking disheveled from the journey. The moment he saw me, his eyes filled with concern and worry. He strode forward, picked up my soaking wet body, and headed towards the car. Yet, the cheap perfume scent on his clothes, even in the fierce 12-point gale, wouldn't dissipate. It stung my nostrils in waves. I was about to speak when Marcus's phone rang. It was Chloe's exclusive ringtone. He instinctively dropped me and answered the call. "Marcus, I think I've caught a cold, my head feels so dizzy." Marcus's brows furrowed, his eyes filled with worry and sympathy. He fumbled in his pocket for the car keys. Then he softly coaxed Chloe, his voice imbued with a tenderness I had never witnessed. "Good girl, wait for me at home, I'll take you to the hospital." Marcus, who was holding me, suddenly let go, sending me sprawling back into the mud. He opened the car door and got in, urging me without looking back, "Get in quickly." Enduring agonizing pain, I painstakingly got up from the ground. Just as I was about to get in, the car door suddenly closed automatically, trapping my clothes. My heart tightened. I immediately pounded on the car door, but at that moment, Marcus was entirely focused on picking up Chloe, completely oblivious to my existence. As the car started, I lost my balance and fell heavily to the ground. The car dragged me, speeding through the rain. The mud lashed at my body like knives, tearing at my skin. The scenery around me blurred rapidly, and my insides felt as though they were being violently shaken. The excruciating, piercing pain made me groan in agony. I was dragged for hundreds of meters. My clothes ripped, and I collapsed into the mud. Looking down, the flesh on my legs was mixed with the muddy water on the ground, and the pain was so intense. It numbed me. I lay on the ground, unable to move, all my last illusions about Marcus shattered. Later, a kind stranger passing by took me home. As soon as I got home, I saw Chloe had tagged everyone in the group chat. "The social media post I shared today was just a joke. I hope no one misunderstood. Thank you, Mr. Marcus, for not holding it against me and for rushing to take me to the hospital." This wasn't an explanation at all, it was clearly a boast. I put down my phone and disinfected my continuously bleeding wounds. Amidst the heart-wrenching pain, tears streamed down my face. "Grace, where did you run off to?" Footsteps approached as Marcus entered the room, questioning me while bringing in the damp, chilling air. Seeing my bloody, mangled wounds, he swallowed the reprimand he was about to utter and frowned. "How did you get yourself into such a state?" He stepped forward, intending to examine my wounds. I turned away from him, sneering, "Don't you know how I got like this? Who invited me to see the ocean during a hurricane? Who abandoned me by the sea for Chloe? And who dragged me for hundreds of meters with their car?" Marcus touched his nose, a hint of guilt in his gesture, yet he still spoke self-righteously, as if he had done nothing wrong. I told you, Chloe and I are completely innocent. I only helped her out of pity, knowing how hard it is for a girl from a modest background to make it in the big city. If you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do." Seeing my silence, his tone grew colder, and he questioned me as if I were the one in the wrong. "Grace, do you really have to pick a fight with me today? And after I even prepared an anniversary gift specifically for you." As he spoke, he angrily pushed a soaked gift box towards me. The box knocked over the antiseptic solution on the table, drenching my freshly bandaged wound. Unable to hold back my indignation any longer, I swung the box, using all my strength to smash it into Marcus's face. "I do. And want your gift." Every time he messed up, he'd try to appease me with a gift, but I later found out that what he gave me were always Chloe's discards. Marcus's eyebrow was cut open, and a bead of blood instantly welled up. He winced in pain and covered his eye. I slapped the divorce papers onto the table. "It's past midnight. Our wedding anniversary is over. Our marriage is finished. To Grace. Don't push your luck," Marcus warned in a low voice. I retorted, "I'm pushing my luck?" Whether it was from the throbbing pain in my leg or the chill in my heart, large tears streamed down my face. Seeing me cry, Marcus's expression softened. "Let's not talk about this right now. I'll take you to the hospital." He reached out to embrace me, but I instinctively recoiled. My wound hit the table leg, and the bandage instantly turned red. "Get lost. I don't need you to take me. Remember this, we are already divorced." The moment he abandoned me, severely injured, to go take Chloe, I stopped trusting him completely. Marcus's body trembled as he clenched his fists, then he suppressed his rage and slammed the door shut as he left. After left, I drafted my resignation letter and sent it to HR. HR was very surprised, sending over a dozen text messages saying they couldn't approve it without consulting Marcus. I was prepared for a standoff with Marcus. But just a minute later, my resignation was approved. It seemed Marcus had no affection left for me at all. The next morning, I went to the office to pack my belongings. All my colleagues were gossiping about my resignation. I ignored them and continued packing. Suddenly, Chloe slammed a half-drunk bubble tea in front of me, its straw still stained with her lipstick. "Grace, could you print a contract for me? I'll treat you to bubble tea." Chloe looked at me provocatively. I stood up and splashed the bubble tea directly onto her face. "I've resigned, and I'm divorced. Stop beating around the bush and trying to disgust me just to W. In over that trash, Marcus." Bubble tea dripped stickily from Chloe's hair, and she looked embarrassed, her eyes red. Marcus rushed over, tenderly wiping her clean with tissues, bit by bit. His gaze turned sharply cold when he looked at me. "Grace, you've gone too far. Apologize to Chloe immediately." A flash of triumph flickered in Chloe's eyes, then she tugged at Marcus's sleeve and shook her head. "Mr. Marcus, don't blame Grace. It's just that I wanted to offer my delicious bubble tea to her, but I forgot she's a city dweller and not on my level." Marcus looked at Chloe's tearful expression, veins bulging on his forehead, and raised his voice. "Being born in the city makes you superior? Does it give you the right to trample on others' kindness? Drink the bubble tea on the floor." Hearing this, all the colleagues who had been discreetly watching the drama unfold turned to look. My eyes red, I looked at Marcus and took a step back. He seized my wrist and pressed me towards the floor. The bubble tea on the ground was trampled into a muddy mess. "Apologize," Marcus ordered me. I bit my lip hard and shook my head. Marcus suddenly thought of something, his gaze turning ruthless, his tone chilling. "Grace, why have you been constantly opposing me lately? If you're still unwilling to apologize to Chloe, then you'll need to reflect on your actions." He tightened his grip on my wrist and dragged me towards the storage room. I tried with all my might to pull my hand free, but he only tightened his grip. Marcus dragged me into the hot, cramped storage room. He looked around, then used one hand to pin my hands together and the other to pick up a dust-covered rope from the corner. My eyes red, I shook my head. "Marcus, you can't." Before I could finish, Marcus had already tied my hands together with a dead knot. He lightly bit the back of my hand. "Grace, you've been spoiled lately. You need to stay here and think carefully about what you did wrong." "I didn't do anything wrong." He placed his index finger over my lips, making a shushing gesture. "Shoo, think clearly before you speak." Then, with a ripping sound, he tore off a piece of tape and sealed my mouth. I tried to turn and run while he was adjusting the tape, but he pulled me back with the rope and pushed me onto a chair. He forcefully secured me to the chair, wrapping the rope around me dozens of times. I squirmed and struggled but couldn't move, only my leg wound bled afresh. Marcus closed the heavy metal door. From beyond the metal door, his voice, faint yet chilling like a cold blade, drifted in, "You stay in there and reflect properly. You'll come out when you realize what you did wrong." 3. I gasped for air, my heart throbbing violently. Marcus knew I had a heart condition and that heat stroke could be life-threatening, yet he deliberately locked me in a storage room that was 40 degrees Celsius. My clothes were drenched in sweat, and I was so weak I was on the verge of collapsing. I don't know how much time passed, but finally, the storage room door opened. Marcus walked over, his expression indifferent, removed the tape from my mouth, and untied me. "Grace, don't let this happen again." I frowned in confusion, then saw Chloe leaning against the door, watching me mockingly. "Grace, I accept your apology." I clutched my chest, my voice dry, weak, and ghost-like. "What apology?" The rope fell to the ground, and my body went limp, collapsing into Marcus's arms. His voice softened. "I'll take you home." My body tensed. I used all my strength to slap Marcus across the face. "Let me go." Marcus's cold eyes pierced me. Seeing my pale face, he clenched his fists and stormed out in a huff. Full of confusion, I leaned against the wall and walked out of the storage room, only to find all my colleagues looking at me with strange and contemptuous eyes. Some even spat in disgust, as if I were a vile creature. The next second, my phone buzzed incessantly. Everyone in the company group C. Hat was discussing the letter of repentance I had supposedly written. I was wrong. I apologized to Ms. Chloe for my suspicion, jealousy, and shamelessness that hurt her. I clenched my fists. Marcus had mimicked my tone in that letter of repentance, portraying me as a vile, despicable creature. In the past, I would have been furious and confronted Marcus immediately. But now I was tired. Nothing was as urgent as getting a divorce. Ignoring my belongings, I picked up my purse and left. At the door, however, Chloe blocked my way. "Grace, you're so pathetic. The whole company knows you're a vile slut. While you were locked in that storage room, Marcus took me several times in his office. He said he wished you'd die of your heart condition in there. We've done it in hotels, in the car's passenger seat, and even on your bed at home. Marcus probably didn't have as much fun with you, did he? It must have been so exhausting for him to be with a woman like a dead fish in bed for 3 years." I bit down hard, secretly recording her words on my phone. "Since you enjoy my leftovers, you can have him." After saying this, I pushed Chloe aside. After contacting a real estate agent to put the marital home up for sale online, I thought for a moment and tagged both sets of parents in the family group chat. "Please come to my place, there's something I need to discuss with all of you." After that, I drove straight to the civil affairs office and obtained the divorce certificate I had longed for. This suffocating marriage was finally over. But as I reached the doorstep, I heard an argument erupting inside. For I opened the door, and a glass flew straight towards me, hitting my forehead. "Fine then. You shameless hussy, did you call us here today just to show us how you sleep with other men?" Patricia glared at me, her teeth clenched. I was dizzy with pain for a moment, and blood immediately streamed down the side of my nose. William picked up a stack of photos and slapped them onto my face. "Grace, my son must divorce a filthy woman like you." I was stunned, and seeing the photos felt like a lightning strike. The photos showed naked men and women intertwined, and every woman was me. I immediately realized the photos were photoshopped. My heart felt as if it had been stabbed from behind, a cold wind passing through. I never imagined Marcus would frame me like this for Chloe. Before I could argue, Patricia slapped me across the face. Susan tried to intervene but could only ask me, her eyes red, "Grace, is what he's saying true?" Michael hung his head in silence, but the tremor in his shoulders revealed his anger. "Grace, you really went too far. Sleeping with so many men, what if you get an STD and pass it to Marcus?" Chloe added fuel to the fire. My fingernails dug into my flesh. I was about to confront her. Marcus looked at me with a complex expression. "Grace, I can't believe how filthy you are." "I'm filthy?" I walked step by step toward Marcus, glaring at him, speaking as I approached. "Marcus, the filthy ones are you and Chloe." When I looked at Chloe, she instinctively stepped back. "Grace, shut up." Marcus shielded Chloe, his eyes glaring at me with malice. Patricia took Chloe's hand and looked at me coldly. "You hussy, don't you dare slander a good girl like Chloe. She's not like you, sleeping around with men." I laughed. "Me sleeping around? Clearly, it's enough." Tears suddenly streamed down my face. I turned my head and saw Michael, his face dark, yelling at me. My voice trembled. "Even you don't believe me?" Their eyes held deep disappointment. Bitter tears traced the corners of my mouth. My whole body felt as if it had been pierced by ice shards, and I shivered uncontrollably. You're not to bother my son anymore. Get a divorce right now. Patricia, seeing that even my parents were no longer defending me, grew even bolder and shoved me to the ground. Glass shards on the floor pierced my palm, causing agonizing pain. Trembling, I felt for the divorce certificate in my purse. Divorcing was the best decision I had ever made. Patricia spat on my face. TCH, a marital infidelity slut like you won't get a single cent of the property. William said self-righteously, a cheating disgrace like you must leave with nothing. Divorce. Our family has no place for such a rotten person. I looked up and saw a crowd of people standing, surrounding me, looking down at me as if they were my judges. My throat was choked with tears of injustice, but I couldn't cry. Biting my lip, my voice rasped, leaving with nothing, huh? Fine. Divorce, huh? Fine. I gritted my teeth, enduring the pain as I stood up, my facial muscles stiff, an involuntary smile on my face. It turned out that when a person reaches a certain level of sadness, they just laugh. My eyes glinting coldly, I scanned everyone, then slapped the divorce certificate onto Marcus's face. Here's the divorce certificate you wanted. Before they could react, I connected my phone to the TV screen, which contained Chloe's recordings boasting about their bedroom details and their intimate footage recorded in the car. I pressed play. These are much more entertaining than a divorce certificate. 5. Look carefully, the ones sleeping around are Marcus and Chloe. Everyone was momentarily stunned, looking towards the TV. Marcus, quick as a flash, pulled the TV's power cord. The video footage flashed by in an instant. Seeing this, Chloe burst into tears, looking at me with resentment and fury. Grace, I've done nothing to you. Why are you slandering me like this? Is it because my family is from a modest background and easy to bully? She looked around, gritting her teeth. Marcus and I are completely innocent. Attack me all you want, but don't drag him into this. After saying that, she ran to the balcony, pretending to jump. If I jump from here, that'll prove I'm not lying, right? Marcus quickly ran over and embraced Chloe. The more Chloe struggled, the tighter he held her. After comforting her, Marcus coldly rebuked me. Grace, you're a woman too. How can you be so malicious as to spread slut-shaming rumors about a young girl? Will you only be satisfied when you've driven her to her death? Patricia echoed, exactly. No wonder my son doesn't want you. A woman like you deserves to be abandoned. I was the one who didn't want Marcus. I turned my phone volume to maximum and played Chloe's recording. While you were locked in that storage room, Marcus took me several times in his office. He said he wished you'd die of your heart condition in there. We've done it in hotels, in the car's passenger seat, and even on your bed at home. Marcus probably didn't have as much fun with you, did he? Chloe's face drained from white to dark. She stumbled over, trying to snatch my phone, but the recording continued to play. Marcus likes to hold my waist from behind. He said I'm 1,000 times sexier than you. Everyone was stunned by the explicit words, their jaws dropped. Michael's eyes instantly reddened, and he kept saying, Grace, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Your father should have believed you. As he spoke, he angrily picked up a nearby chair and threw it at Marcus. You beast. I don't even know how my daughter endured being with you for these past 3 years. Susan embraced me and apologized, then turned to argue with Patricia. You said the cheating scum should leave with nothing? That's barely having a conscience. Patricia shamelessly tilted her head back. Absolutely not. How do you account for your Grace sleeping with so many men? Besides, what successful man doesn't have a mistress? And those things Chloe said, she might just have been joking. Just because she said them, does it mean they actually happened? I smiled. Those images are illegal. You just wait. As for Mrs. Patricia thinking my evidence isn't sufficient, that's easily fixed. Marcus tried to stop me from turning on the TV, but Michael R. restrained him. I played the dashcam footage. Both their faces were clearly visible, and the obscene images made even William and Patricia close their eyes. Marcus covered his face with his hands, while Chloe in his arms was quietly sobbing. I crossed my arms and looked at Chloe. Prove your innocence, then? Jump. Chloe trembled all over but remained speechless. Patricia turned off the TV and began to twist facts. She scrutinized me from head to toe, as if sizing up a cabbage at the market. Grace, look at yourself. You don't have an ounce of femininity. Your face is grim, your chest is flat, and you're so strong-willed, always wearing shirts and suit pants like a man. What man would like someone like that? Why don't you reflect on why you couldn't win my son's heart, why you couldn't hold on to your own husband? And you still have the nerve to speak up? You haven't produced an heir for our Goof family in 3 years of marriage, you're just a barren woman. In ancient times, you would have been divorced long ago. How do you still have the nerve to ask for property division? If a man married a wife like Chloe, which man would ever cheat? I smiled. Originally, I didn't want to involve the elders in my issues with Marcus. But since she put it that way, I might as well play some more exciting footage. When I checked the dashcam surveillance, I also saw William's scandalous behavior. He's still quite the ladies' man. I said sarcastically, "You're absolutely right." 6. I started William's video. As soon as the video played, everyone's expressions turned strange. William's face instantly turned ashen, and he clutched his chest. I looked directly at Patricia, scrutinizing her with a frown. "Mrs. Patricia, look at yourself. How do you compare to the woman in that video? She's younger and prettier than you, and probably more adventurous, too, wouldn't you say? You're hunched over, and you have so much extra fat on your stomach. What man would like that? How can you not even keep your own husband loyal, and still have the nerve to speak up?" Patricia's face cycled through shades of red and purple, and she trembled all over. Suddenly, she yelled, "I'll fight you." She grabbed her handbag and vigorously hit William with it. William, angered by the blows, shouted, "Stop it. First, let's discuss Marcus's divorce and the property division." Patricia calmed down. Marcus has always been managing the company. Grace has been a freeloading for 3 years. We're already being generous by not demanding compensation. Let's part ways amicably. My son gets 70% of the property, and your daughter gets 30. She looked at Chloe, her face beaming. "Good girl, you hurry up and marry Marcus and give our Goo family a healthy baby boy." Chloe looked shyly, "Mrs. Patricia, I'm already 2 months pregnant." Patricia was both surprised and overjoyed. She immediately took off her family heirloom bracelet and accepted Chloe as her daughter-in-law. I was even more surprised than Patricia. Marcus and I had gone for a medical checkup 2 years ago. The doctor said Marcus had a congenital issue and would never be able to have his own children. I looked at Marcus, realizing he was being cuckolded, and fell into deep thought. This is wonderful. Our family got rid of the one who was unable to conceive for 3 years and is finally going to have a grandson. I've already bought the baby keepsakes for our grandchild. It looks like we'll be able to use them soon. Chloe, you move into the Goo family home today. I'll personally take care of you. Chloe gave me a triumphant glance, then said shyly, "Auntie, it might not even be a grandson yet." William interjected, "As long as it's a Goo family child, whether it's a grandson or granddaughter, we'll treat them equally. The moment the baby is born, we'll reward you with 10 million. Their conversation had just clearly laid out Marcus's marital infidelity and his mistress's pregnancy. I had recorded it and added the evidence to my divorce lawyer's file. The entire family was happily discussing marriage and having children. Chloe's pregnancy fulfilled their desire of over a decade. I interrupted them, "Oh, by the way, I've already sold this house, so you should move out as soon as possible." Patricia was the first to react, her face darkening as she roared, "What right do you have to sell my son's house? According to the divorce papers Marcus gave me a month ago, this house belongs to me, and that agreement had already taken effect. I sold my own house. For the specifics, ask your son, he's the one who drafted the divorce papers." Patricia was about to argue further, but Marcus cut her off. "Mom, that's enough. Let's go home." With that matter settled, I went to a hotel for dinner with Michael and Susan, celebrating my new beginning. At the restaurant, I unexpectedly ran into Ethan, my childhood friend, whom I hadn't seen in 7 or 8 years. Michael and Susan warmly invited him to join us for dinner. They heard he worked out of town and had just flown in last night. We exchanged a few pleasantries, and I casually asked, "Ethan, what are your plans now? Are you planning to settle down here this time?" He was as shy as he had been as a child. "Yes," he replied. Ethan was silent for a moment, then said something surprising, "Grace, I heard you got divorced. You're single now." I paused for a moment and looked at Michael and Susan. Who else but them could have told him what had just happened? Michael and Susan chuckled awkwardly, clearly guilty, as if they hadn't expected Ethan to be so direct. Before I could ask, Michael and Susan stood up, gave some excuse about leaving a bag in the car, and quickly slipped away. I sighed helplessly and said, "Yes, I just got divorced. I'm single too. So how about we?" 7. His face flushed slightly. I quickly cut him off, "Ethan, we're best friends. I don't want to get married again. I want to do things I enjoy from now on." Ethan didn't pursue the topic further and instead chatted with me about our childhood memories. I'm outgoing and talkative, so I originally wanted to open a live streaming company and try my hand at being an e-commerce streamer in my free time. I only got stuck in an office to help Marcus manage his company. I thought he would back down. True to my word, I recruited top operations managers, streamers, floor managers, and photographers from various companies, and began my entrepreneurial journey. Ethan often visited me at the office, but our conversations were always about company management and process optimization, providing me with immense help. However, despite appearing on camera myself and streaming for 2 months, I had very few viewers and became the lowest performing streamer in my own company. One day, I streamed for 4 hours, but the live stream had 0 viewers. As I was debating whether to step down and work behind the scenes, Ethan came to see me and brought me lunch. Since no one was in the live stream, I decided not to end the broadcast and began to eat. As I was eating, I suddenly looked up. The viewership count was in the thousands and rapidly increasing. The screen was filled with comments. The streamer eats so deliciously and focused, unlike other mukbang streamers. The male assistant in the back is too handsome, so pleasant to look at. I ended up eating an extra bowl of rice for lunch. What? I just became popular like that? And in just 1 second, I decided to switch from being an e-commerce streamer to a mukbang streamer. After officially bringing Ethan on board, our live stream's popularity grew steadily. But it seemed I was gaining weight. The meals Ethan brought me were always perfectly to my taste. One day, he brought food again, and I frowned. Bro, bring me some low-calorie meals. I've gained weight. I opened the lunchbox and was stunned. It held a box of fresh flowers and a ring. Will you be my girlfriend? If you don't want to get married, we can just date for the rest of our lives. The screen was flooded with heart emojis and gift animations. CP fans rejoice. I knew my ship was real. Even if it's staged, I'm all in. Prompted by this comment, I wondered too, was it staged? I reached out and touched the ring, but it felt soft. It was a cake. Seeing me eat the flower and ring cake, the livestream's popularity soared. I gave him an icy look. After the broadcast, Ethan suggested we celebrate our achievement of 100,000 followers. I agreed without hesitation. We arrived at a restaurant. It was dinner time, yet we were the only 2 people there. As soon as we sat down, romantic piano music began to play. Even before we ordered, waiters, seemingly prepared, began serving dishes one by one. While enjoying the delicious food, Ethan suddenly asked me, his eyes earnest, Grace, could you give me a chance to take care of you? If you don't want to get married, how about we just date for the rest of our lives? I was stunned. You don't have to rush your answer or feel pressured. Even if you refuse, I'll always be there for you, as your best friend. Just then, there was a commotion at the entrance. Why aren't you letting us in? Sir, the restaurant is fully booked for a private event today. I looked towards the sound and saw Marcus and Chloe forcing their way in. The waitstaff, wary of Chloe's prominent pregnancy, dared not physically stop them. Seeing me, Chloe clutched her belly and boasted, Grace, since you can't have children, you just found a pretty boy to live it up with, huh? I smiled and nodded, right. You're the only one who can have children. Even a sow isn't as capable as you. Chloe cried in anger. Marcus took a few steps forward, about to grab me, but a quick-witted waiter intercepted him. Sir, please leave. Do not disturb our guest's meal. Another waiter kept apologizing to me. Chloe stepped forward to grab at the waiter but lost her balance and fell. She cried out in pain, and her water broke instantly. Marcus panicked. He immediately picked up Chloe and said to me, Grace, once Chloe is fine, I'll settle this with you. I smiled. I wasn't settling anything with him, he was the one wanting to settle with me. I didn't dwell on their little incident. The next morning, I saw that both Chloe and Marcus had posted about their baby on social media. The photo showed a newborn baby, wrinkled and with its eyes still closed, its features completely indistinguishable. Yet, the influential people in the comments section kept fawning over it. The baby is so adorable, truly takes after its mommy and daddy. Oh my god, the baby looks so smart. It will definitely get into an Ivy University when it grows up. I then saw Chloe happily replying to their messages. Then they announced they would hold a makeup wedding and invited all their friends. Marcus was immersed in the joy of becoming a father and didn't come to settle things with me. I, too, enjoyed my freedom for 2 months. To my surprise, what a coincidence. My birthday celebration and Marcus and Chloe's wedding banquet were held on the same day, at the same hotel. At my birthday party, I publicly held Ethan's hand and announced him as my new boyfriend. He froze, then his eyes turned red. Halfway through the cake, I heard that a fight had broken out at Marcus's wedding. So I went over to watch the commotion. At the wedding, filled with socialites, a homeless man suddenly burst in. He ran over and grabbed Chloe, calling her his wife. He claimed that the son Chloe had given birth to was his, insisting on taking the child. Chloe was terrified and turned pale. She kept crying and yelling that the homeless man was a crazy person who just made baseless accusations. Someone in the crowd started to egg them on. How could Ms. Chloe possibly be involved with someone like you? What gives you the right to say that? Yeah, do you have any proof? Chloe's face turned comple. Telly white. The homeless man said, pull down her skirt, there's a red circular birthmark on her inner left thigh. Marcus's face cycled through shades of green and purple. Get this raving lunatic out of here. I sneered. This was probably the child's real father. After all, Marcus couldn't have children. But this had nothing to do with me. Seeing being cuckolded, I was still in a pretty good mood. Several months passed. The child grew, looking less and less like Marcus. Marcus and Chloe both had single eyelids, but the child had double eyelids. Marcus had thin lips, but the child had thick lips. In short, by all appearances, the child was not his. Yet seemed oblivious, sharing baby photos on social media every day. Eventually, even colleagues who often spoke against their true feelings didn't dare to comment on her social media posts anymore. One day, after Ethan and I finished our broadcast, we were watching the sunset by the river. We saw Chloe helping her son learn to walk. When she saw me, Chloe immediately picked up her child and blocked my path. You and Marcus were together for 3 years and had no children, but look, my eldest is already learning to walk, and the second one is already over 2 months along in my belly. My eyes widened. I looked at Marcus approaching and shook my head. Then I whispered quietly into Chloe's ear, are you really not afraid Marcus will find out you've cheated on him? Marcus is infertile, yet you're giving him 2 children in 3 years. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Chloe trembled all over in fright. I lightly patted her shoulder. Don't worry, I won't expose you. It'll be much more interesting to watch Marcus raise someone else's children for the rest of his life. Marcus stepped forward and pushed me away. Grace, stay away from Chloe and the child. Don't even think about harming my family. I smiled, shrugged, and walked away, holding Ethan's hand. Later, I heard that both children, as they grew up, developed personality disorders and violent tendencies, just like their homeless biological father. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.